Tired of government gridlock? Frustrated by slow-moving bureaucracy? You're not alone. Welcome to Unbottlenecking Government with ReEngine, the podcast that dives deep into the challenges facing public sector organizations and explores innovative solutions to streamline processes and improve efficiency. Join us regularly as we talk to experts, thought leaders, and explore topics that are revolutionizing the way that government works. We hope you enjoy the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to your own personal deep dive.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're really interested in process improvement in government.
Right.
Specifically with this company called ReEngine and
Yeah.
their whole GQI methodology.
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of materials here, explanations, case studies, even some info on their deliverables.
Yeah, they're doing some cool stuff.
So are you ready to kind of see how ReEngine takes all these ideas from the private sector, things like Lean, Six Sigma, theory of constraints,
Absolutely.
and makes them work in the world of government?
Yeah, because it's a different beast. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Government's got its own unique challenges.
It's a whole other ball game.
Absolutely. It's not just a bigger business.
Right.
And ReEngine gets that.
And we're going to get into the aha moments, how they achieve tangible results, not just talk theory.
Yeah, because you can't just take those private sector methods and
Right.
slap a government label on them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make it work.
Yeah, it's got to be real.
You got to dig deep,
Yeah.
adapt it to the realities of the public sector. And they've spent 7 years doing just that, figuring it out.
That's where their GQI methodology comes in.
She's right.
GQI, government quality and improvement.
Yeah.
And they've got these like 7 phases, charter it, vision it, map it, gap it, build it, launch it, and track it.
I love it.
And at first I was like, okay, is this like a little hokey,
Is it a little bit gimmicky?
Yeah. Is it gimmicky?
Yeah.
But then as I started to really dig into the structure of each of these phases, it really clicked for me.
Right.
What's your take on why this structure is so effective?
I think, going back to what we were saying about government being different,
Right.
they recognized that and built this system with that in mind.
Yeah.
They didn't just take...
Lean or Six Sigma or theory of constraints
Yeah.
and say, oh, it'll work for the government too.
Right.
They really thought through, okay, what are the unique challenges that government faces?
Yeah.
And how can we adapt these proven methods to address those challenges?
It's tailored. Right.
It is. Yeah, it's tailored.
To those specific needs of government, which I know is something you're looking for.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's break down these 7 phases.
Okay.
Starting with the first one, charter.
Right.
Setting the stage, getting everyone on board.
Yeah, getting that buy-in from the beginning.
But what really stood out to me was how much emphasis they put on stakeholder analysis.
Oh, that's crucial in government.
Yeah.
Absolutely crucial.
Because it's not just like one stakeholder.
No, not at all. Think about it. You've got
Okay.
funding sources, legislative mandates, different departments, all vying for resources.
It's a lot.
And then, of course, you have the public,
Right.
who are ultimately the ones
The ones we serve, right?
Yeah.
So you've got all these stakeholders with different priorities.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you have to find a way to navigate these often conflicting expectations.
It can feel like you're
Yeah.
trying to solve a giant puzzle where the pieces are constantly moving.
I love that analogy, yeah.
It's true.
So how does ReEngine approach this in the charter it phase?
Well, they start by really meticulously analyzing those funding sources
Okay.
and the demands placed on the organization.
Makes sense.
It's about understanding the pressure points, the potential roadblocks, and identifying who needs to be on board to make any change actually happen.
They had that example of,
Yeah.
like analyzing funding alongside governance demands,
Absolutely.
making these kind of abstract concepts very real.
Yeah, grounding it in the reality of government work.
Okay, so we've got everyone on the same page with our charter.
Right.
It's time to move on to Vision It.
Okay, yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting because it's all about defining what good looks like. But what does that actually mean?
Yeah, I know. It sounds a bit
Yeah.
like a motivational poster, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hang in there, kitty.
Exactly. But it's more than just a feel-good slogan.
Right.
ReEngine actually gives it substance by using a tool called the strategic compass.
Okay.
It helps them create a tangible vision for the future,
Got it.
a measurable goal that everyone can rally around.
Ah, so the North Star document.
Exactly.
I love how they described that.
It's a great way to visualize.
It's like visualizing that ideal state where you want to be, but it's not just some like pie in the sky vision board.
No, it's grounded in the organization's goal.
Right. It has to be.
They make sure to connect it back to the organization's actual objectives.
Absolutely. It's all about alignment.
Right.
Making sure that the improvement initiative is contributing to the larger mission of the organization.
It's got to be connected.
It does, yeah.
It's got to all be like one big
thing.
It all works together.
And they had that great case study.
Yes, the human resources team.
About the HR team, right.
Yeah, they wanted to streamline their hiring process.
Yeah.
Which, as anyone who's ever applies for a job knows.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Can be a nightmare.
The worst.
So they used the strategic compass to guide their efforts. And they ended up reducing their time to hire by 48%.
What? That's incredible.
That's huge.
That's huge, yeah. So they didn't just like set a target and hope for the best.
They used data.
Right, they used data from their existing process.
From the as-is,
to inform that target, making it both ambitious but also achievable.
Absolutely.
So it's grounded.
It is.
In reality.
Yes, and I think that's a key insight here.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that your goals are both aspirational, but also grounded in data and reality.
It can't just be a dream. It's got to be real.
It has to be something you can actually achieve.
So we've got our charter. We've envisioned success.
We're ready to roll up our sleeves.
Time to roll up our sleeves.
And get into the nitty-gritty. Yes.
Which brings us to phase 3, map it.
Okay.
This is where we really dive into that current state.
Yeah, the as-is, we call it.
Of the process and figure out, like, what's actually going on.
What's really happening, yeah.
And they don't just rely on...
No, they're not about anecdotes.
Anecdotal evidence.
Or assumptions.
Assumptions, yeah.
They actually use a tool called value stream SOPs.
Okay, value stream SOPs.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those?
That sounds...
They can be a little intimidating at first.
A little intimidating.
But they're incredibly powerful.
Okay, break it down for me.
All right, so think of them as super detailed flowcharts.
Okay.
But with a twist.
Okay, so flowchart, but...
Yeah, it's not just about mapping out the steps.
Gotcha.
It's about assessing the value that each step contributes.
Oh, okay, so it's like, is this step actually worth doing?
Exactly. Is it adding value?
Oh, okay.
Or is it just
there because...
Yeah, because we've always done it this way.
It's always been done this way.
Which, happens a lot in government.
In government, it happens a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So this helps identify bottlenecks, redundancies.
Yeah, those steps that are just eating up time and resources.
And those areas where effort isn't translating into a result.
Right, where you're putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, you're just like spinning your wheels and not really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of worth doing... That Texas child care program case study.
Oh, that's a great one.
Blew me away.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Remember how they used these value stream SOPs to map out that whole eligibility process?
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
From start to finish.
And it wasn't just about efficiency. They brought together a team from across the state. So it was
creating a sense of shared ownership.
A big collaborative.
Absolutely. And empowering those on the ground to identify and implement improvements.
So they weren't just like imposing a solution from the top down.
No, it was a very collaborative process.
Yeah, they got everybody involved.
Yeah.
And they actually achieved cost reductions.
They did.
Shared best practices across different regions and even created this like wave of positive energy throughout the program.
Yeah, it was really inspiring.
It was really cool.
It shows that when you involve people in the process and give them a voice, they can come up with amazing solutions.
Amazing things can happen.
Absolutely.
So it really is a testament to the power of a well-executed process improvement initiative.
And to ReEngine's commitment to working collaboratively with those who are actually doing the work.
Not just like telling people what to do.
No, it's about empowering them to be part of the solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've mapped out the current state. We've identified
the good, the bad.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
The ugly, it's all there.
Now what?
Now we move on to gap it.
Gap it.
Yes.
This is where the real analysis begins.
This is where we get down to business.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're comparing that as-is map to our what good looks like vision.
Right. That beautiful vision we created in the Vision It phase.
And we start to identify like what are the discrepancies?
It's like the gaps.
Where are the gaps?
Yeah.
Where are we falling short?
And ReEngine doesn't just scratch the surface here.
Okay.
They dig deep.
They get in there.
They look at audits, complaints, legislative inquiries.
Wow.
Anything that can shed light on the root causes of those gaps.
So it's not just about treating the symptoms.
No.
It's about really understanding the underlying issues.
It's about finding the cure.
But isn't there a risk, though, of getting, like, bogged down?
Oh, absolutely. You can get stuck in analysis paralysis.
That analysis paralysis.
But ReEngine seems to have figured out that balance between thoroughness
and action.
Action, yeah.
So they don't get lost in the weeds.
You don't. They use it to inform their solutions.
Right.
But they don't let it paralyze them.
They keep moving.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've identified the gaps.
Right.
We've analyzed the root causes.
Are ready to build.
Now we get to the fun part. Build it.
Yes. This is where we get to be creative.
Right. This is where we take all those insights, all those lessons learned, and start crafting solutions.
Absolutely. And ReEngine has some amazing tools to help us do just that.
Okay, let's talk tools.
Okay.
What are they using in this build it phase?
2 key tools. The workflow capacity model.
Okay.
And the future state value stream, SOP.
Yeah. Let's start with that workflow capacity model.
Okay.
What is that all about?
Well, it sounds complex, but it's actually very visual. ReEngine uses it to map out how work will flow in this new, improved process.
So it's like a blueprint for efficiency.
It is, yeah, like a roadmap.
Okay.
It shows you how tasks are allocated, how teams interact, how resources are utilized.
And how it all comes together.
Exactly.
To achieve those what good looks like goals.
Right, remember that vision we created?
Right.
This is where it starts to become reality.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it all ties together.
I'm starting to see how this ties back to that initial stakeholder analysis.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just focusing on the process itself.
No, you're thinking about the people involved.
Right.
The resources available, how to make it all work together.
It's like choreographing a dance.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah, it's about getting all the moving parts.
All the pieces
Yeah.
to work together in harmony.
And that's what makes their approach so effective. They're not just optimizing individual steps. They're looking at the whole system.
The interplay of people, processes, resources, the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Okay, and then the future state value stream SOP. That's basically taking that initial as-is map
Yes.
and transforming it into a blueprint for the future.
It's the to be, the ideal state.
The ideals.
Yeah.
Okay, so this becomes the new standard operating procedure.
It does, yeah. It's the guiding document.
It's the guiding document for how things should work.
This is how we do it now.
This is the new normal.
Exactly.
It's the result of all that analysis, all the collaboration,
all the hard work.
all that solution building.
It's all in there.
It's like taking all those best ideas,
All the lessons learned.
all the lessons learned.
And putting them into a clear, actionable plan.
Yeah.
This is how we move forward.
So things are really starting to
They are.
come together here.
Yeah.
We've built our shiny new process.
Right. But now comes the hard part.
But now comes the real challenge, making it a reality.
Yeah, implementation is always tricky.
Which brings us to
Launch it.
launch it.
Yeah.
This is where we move from theory to practice
From the drawing board to the real world.
and start actually implementing this new process.
Yeah. And launching a new process in government.
Right. It's not just like, oh, we're doing this now.
No, it's not like flipping a switch. You have to contend with ingrained habits, resistance to change,
The sheer inertia
bureaucracy.
of bureaucracy. It's like trying to turn a giant ship around, right?
It can feel that way, absolutely.
So how does ReEngine approach this?
They're very strategic about it.
This critical launch it phase.
They start with a very targeted 1-hour presentation
Okay.
for senior leaders and directors.
Okay.
Now, this might seem like a small step,
Right.
but they emphasize its importance in getting buy-in from the top
Okay.
and setting the stage for successful implementation.
Why do you think that presentation is so crucial?
Well, it's about more than just information sharing.
Okay.
It's about setting clear expectations.
Creating a sense of shared ownership,
Got it.
addressing any potential resistance head on.
Right.
It's about laying the foundation for a culture shift where the new process is embraced.
Not just seen as like, ugh, another new thing.
No, this is how we do things now.
It's just the new normal.
Yeah, and that's powerful.
Yeah.
Because when people feel like they're part of the change,
Right.
they're more likely to embrace it.
Absolutely. You have to get people on board.
They do.
But it can't just stop with leadership, right?
No, it can't.
They talk about this idea of cascading communication.
Yes, absolutely.
To the rest of the staff.
You can't just tell the leaders and hope it trickles down.
Right. It's got to be.
It has to be intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah.
And they even talk about this thing called
MBWA.
MBWA, right?
I love that one.
Which stands for?
Management by walking around.
Management by walking around.
Get out of the office.
Yeah.
Talk to staff directly.
Be present.
Make sure they understand the changes.
See what's going on.
Address any concerns they might have.
Yeah, you can't.
It's about visible leadership.
Yeah, you can't just like send an email or have a town hall.
And expect everyone to be on board.
Right, you got to be there.
You have to be present.
You got to be present.
And engaged.
Okay, so we've launched our new process. We're all excited about the changes.
But how do we know if it's actually working?
Right, how do we know?
That's a good question.
Which brings us to the final phase.
Track it.
Track it.
Yes. The data phase.
This is where data-driven decision-making comes in.
Absolutely. We need data to know if we're on the right track.
Right.
ReEngine advocates for using dashboards and balanced scorecards to track key metrics and ensure that the changes are having the desired impact.
So we're not just like guessing, we're looking at the numbers.
No, we're being data-driven.
We're being data-driven.
And that's crucial for demonstrating the value of process improvement initiatives.
Right.
And making the case for continued investment.
It's about measuring progress.
Yeah.
Identifying what's working.
And what's not.
What's not.
And making adjustments as needed.
It's a process. It's an ongoing...
It is. It's iterative.
Iterative process.
Yeah.
It's not just like, okay, we're done.
No, it's continuous improvement.
It's continuous.
And remember what we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Achieving more with less effort.
Right. Efficiency is king in government.
It is, especially these days.
And I can see how having these data points would be so invaluable.
They would be.
If you're like requesting budget increases or advocating for policy changes.
Absolutely. Data is power.
Data is power, yes.
When you can show the impact of your work with hard numbers,
real results,
it makes a much stronger case.
Okay, we've walked through the 7 phases of ReEngine's GQI methodology.
Phew.
And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed.
I am too.
It's a well-structured, comprehensive approach.
They've really thought this through.
That goes beyond just like tweaking a few steps.
Yeah, it's about transforming the way government works.
It's about transforming the way government works.
And I think what's most compelling is that they clearly understand the challenges of government.
And have developed this tailored approach that addresses those challenges head on.
Absolutely.
But how does all of this translate into
that's the big question.
Real-world results?
Yeah. How does this actually play out in practice?
Let's move on to see.
Let's see it in action.
ReEngine in action.
Yes.
Shall we?
Let's do it. So ReEngine, they've worked with a whole bunch of different city departments and functions.
Oh, yeah.
From fire departments to public works to utilities, you name it.
That's pretty impressive.
They've helped streamline permitting processes. They've improved interdepartmental workflows.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about real, tangible improvements, things that citizens actually feel and experience.
That's what gets me excited.
Yeah, me too.
Like, this isn't just some theoretical back office stuff. It's
about making government work better.
It's making a difference.
For the people it serves,
yeah,
that's what matters.
Right. Like, absolutely. Give me an example.
Okay, so one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Their work with the fire department in Horseshoe Bay, Texas.
The fire department, okay.
Now, you might think, what can you improve in a fire department?
Yeah, right. They just put out fires.
They just, show up when there's an emergency, right?
Yeah.
But ReEngine, they facilitated strategic planning and leadership retreats, which led to a more aligned and effective department overall.
So it's not just about fighting fires. It's about
building a strong foundation for the whole organization.
Makes sense.
Which, when you think about it, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because in a field where, like, split-second decisions can have life or death consequences.
Yeah, you got to have
your act together. You got to have your act together, absolutely.
Right.
And then another example.
Right.
They helped the Public Works Department in Columbus, Ohio.
Public Works, okay.
Streamline their right-of-way permitting process.
Ooh, permitting.
Yeah, and this is something that impacts so many aspects of city life.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking construction, utilities,
Yeah.
events.
If you want to do anything, you need a permit.
You need a permit, exactly.
So this is huge.
And ReEngine's work made it faster and easier.
Wow.
For everyone involved.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Right. Because we've all been on the receiving end of a slow permitting process.
I have, definitely.
It's a perfect example of how seemingly small improvements can have this ripple effect throughout the entire community.
Small changes, big impact.
Exactly.
I like that.
And it's not just about efficiency for efficiency's sake.
Okay.
Remember that ecosystem idea?
Yeah, yeah.
So in the utilities department, they've tackled everything from permitting to interdepartmental workflows, while also considering the broader context.
So they're not just looking at, like, one little piece.
No, they're looking at the whole system.
Of the puzzle.
The whole picture.
They're making sure that it all fits together.
Like, for example, they worked with the Santa Clara Valley Water District in California to streamline permitting, but also ensuring the protection of natural resources.
Oh, wow. So they're finding that sweet spot.
They are.
Between efficiency and responsible governance.
It's not just about doing things faster.
Right.
It's about doing them right.
It's got to be sustainable.
It does. It has to be sustainable.
Okay, so speaking of doing things right, remember how we talked about tailoring this deep dive to your, like, tech savviness?
Oh, yes. Please tell me they're using AI to solve bureaucratic nightmares.
ReEngine doesn't just use whiteboards and sticky notes.
Okay, good.
They're bringing some serious tech firepower.
Yes.
To government.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so get this.
They helped design an AI virtual assistant.
No way.
Nicknamed Larry the Chatbot.
Larry the Chatbot. I love it.
For handling unemployment claims in Texas.
Okay, so this chatbot can, like, answer questions, process requests.
It could do all that. It could even update claims 24/7.
24/7, so you don't have to...
Whenever you need it.
Wait on hold with the government.
No more waiting on hold.
That's amazing.
Right.
That takes a huge burden off those call center workers.
Oh, yeah.
And makes the whole process so much more user-friendly.
It's about making those services more accessible.
Yeah.
More efficient. And, honestly, less frustrating.
Absolutely.
For everyone involved.
I can really see how this kind of technology could revolutionize how government interacts with citizens.
I think it's already starting to happen.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
But, you know, at the end of the day, technology is just a tool.
Right.
It's the people.
Yeah.
And the processes that really matter.
And that's where their expertise in organizational change management.
Organizational change management comes in.
Which is, you know, a fancy way of saying they know how to help people adapt to new ways of working.
Because implementing a new process, it's not just about flipping a switch.
It's about changing mindsets and behaviors, which can be incredibly difficult.
Especially in government.
Especially in government, yeah. People get used to doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And change can be met with a lot of resistance.
We've always done it this way.
Exactly. Why do we need to change?
They had that case study about...
Oh, yes. The South Dakota Bureau of Information and Telecommunications.
Yeah.
Where they use what are called agile methodologies.
Okay, agile? Like, I've heard of that in the software world.
Yeah, it's all about, like, iterative, flexible approaches to work.
Okay, so they took that and applied it to...
They applied it to the government.
To government.
And they were able to improve development speed by over 80%.
What, 80%?
That's not just a tweak. That's a complete transformation.
That's huge.
It is. And they applied those same change management principles to the Michigan Department of Transportation, helping them implement new permitting processes.
So it's not just about, like, updating forms.
No, it's about shifting the entire culture around permitting.
So they're really, like, rolling up their sleeves.
And they and get in there.
They're not just consultants who swoop in with a PowerPoint presentation and disappear.
Right.
They're there for the long haul.
They're committed.
They're committed to making those changes stick.
Okay, we've seen their impressive track record.
We have. They've got a lot to be proud of.
But what's their secret sauce?
What makes them so good at this?
What makes them so successful?
Especially in government.
Yeah, in this environment, that's often so resistant to change.
Well, I think a few things.
Okay.
First, they have a really deep understanding of the public sector.
They've been there, done that.
They've been there, done that. They know the challenges.
They speak the language. They speak the language. They get the culture.
They walked the walk.
Yeah.
Not just talking the talk.
Exactly. Second, They're laser focused on achieving more with less effort.
Which is music to the ears.
It is, and it is.
Of any government agency.
Especially these days.
Especially in times of, like, tight budgets.
Right.
And increasing demand for services.
Everyone wants to do more with less.
Efficiency is king.
Efficiency is king, absolutely.
But it's not about cutting corners.
No, it's about working smarter.
Right.
It's about finding ways to streamline those processes, eliminate waste, ultimately deliver better services to citizens.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And
finally, they have a proven track record of success.
Right. They can point to real results.
They can.
Real outcomes.
They've worked with countless government entities, consistently delivering impressive results.
So they're not just like all talk.
No, they walk the walk.
They actually deliver.
They do. And they built a reputation for excellence.
So it's a combination of expertise,
a focus on efficiency,
and a track record that speaks for itself.
It's a winning formula.
No wonder they're making waves in government.
They are. They're definitely shaking things up.
It's pretty inspiring to see an organization like ReEngine.
It is.
Tackling these, like, big systemic issues.
Because they're not afraid of the big challenges.
In a way that's both practical, but also people-focused.
They understand that it's not just about the processes.
Right.
It's about the people.
It's about the people.
Who are impacted by those processes.
Yeah.
And they keep that at the forefront of their work.
I agree. I think that's what makes them so effective.
I do too.
They're not just, like, identifying problems.
No, they're solution-oriented.
They're offering solutions.
They want to make things better.
They're empowering government agencies to work smarter.
Yes. Work smarter, not harder.
Not harder.
That's a powerful message, and it's clearly resonating with leaders across the country.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap for our listener, hitting those key takeaways of ReEngine's GQI methodology. First, we have that clear 7-phase structure.
Yes, it provides a roadmap.
A roadmap for improvement.
Exactly. It breaks down what can seem like an overwhelming task into manageable steps.
Making it less daunting.
Yeah, less scary.
For those agencies to embrace change.
Absolutely.
Then we have that emphasis on tangible results.
Yes. Measurable outcomes.
Measurable outcomes, data-driven decision-making.
Data is key.
It's not just about feeling good.
No, it's about making a real difference.
It's about making a real difference.
And proving it.
Proving it.
Yeah, with data.
And finally, there's this belief in the potential for positive change.
In government.
In government.
That it is possible.
ReEngine isn't just like pointing out the flaws.
No, they're offering a path forward.
They're showing that it is possible to make government work better.
It is.
For everyone.
For everyone. And that's what it's all about.
No, I'm going to hand it over to our expert.
Okay.
For a final thought.
Right.
That will hopefully spark some ideas for you, our listener.
Okay, so, listener, I want you to think about a process that you find frustrating within government.
It could be anything, right?
It could be anything, yeah.
Getting a permit, accessing a service.
Navigating a bureaucratic maze. Anything that makes you want to tear your hair out.
Been there, done that.
We've all been there.
Now imagine applying ReEngine's GQI methodology to that process.
Okay, what good looks like look like?
What would that ideal state be?
Yeah, in that scenario.
What data would you need to collect?
To justify change.
To justify change.
To make your case.
To make your case for improvement.
ReEngine has shown us.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It is possible.
The power to improve government.
It's in our hands.
It's in our hands.
That's a powerful challenge.
It is, and it's exciting.
It is.
We can all be part of the solution.
And I hope it inspires you to think about how you can make a difference.
I do too.
If you're interested in learning more about ReEngine, or you want to kind of explore this world
of government process improvement,
I encourage you to check out their website.
They've got a lot of great resources on there.
Or do some research. This is a field.
Yeah, there's so much happening in this space right now.
With so much potential.
And so much opportunity.
We've only just scratched the surface.
We have. This is just the beginning.
Today.
Yeah, the future of government is in our hands.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll be back soon.
We will, with another fascinating topic.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring.
And keep pushing.
Keep pushing for a better future.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's easy to get frustrated, when you're dealing with all these government processes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I like about ReEngine?
Yeah. Is that their work shows us that change is possible.
It is. It absolutely is.
It's not hopeless.
No, not at all.
Like they've given us this framework.
They have. They've given us a roadmap.
For tackling these issues.
And they're not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty.
No, they're not.
They're in the trenches with these agencies.
They are, yeah.
Helping them make real change happen.
Making government work better for everybody.
For everyone, exactly. And that's what it's all about, right?
That is what it's all about.
I mean, remember that case study about streamlining the child care eligibility process in Texas?
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, they didn't just save time and money. They actually created a more positive experience for families and providers.
It's about the people.
It is, and it's a good reminder that these government processes, they're not just abstract concepts, you know. They have real-world impacts on people's lives.
Yeah.
When we improve those processes, we're making a difference. Absolutely. In people's everyday experiences.
I love that.
It's not just about efficiency for efficiency's sake.
All right.
It's about improving people's lives.
It's going to have a purpose.
It does, and that's what makes ReEngine's work so compelling to me.
Yeah, they're not just
tweaking a few forms, automating a few tasks, you know.
It's bigger than that.
It is. It's about changing.
It's about changing mindsets.
Yeah.
Changing behaviors.
It's about fundamentally changing how government works.
Making it more responsive, more efficient.
More citizen-centric.
More citizen-centric, yes.
Putting the needs of the people first.
I like that.
And that's what we all want, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so for our listener who's been really diving deep with us into all this material about government process improvement, what would you say are the biggest takeaways?
The biggest takeaways.
From ReEngine's GQI methodology?
Well, first, I'd say it really emphasizes the importance of a structured approach. You know those 7 phases we talked about?
Yeah, charter it, vision it.
All of those.
Map it.
Yeah, all of those.
Build it.
They provide a roadmap.
A roadmap.
For tackling even the most complex government processes.
Makes it less overwhelming.
It does. It breaks it down into manageable steps so it's not as scary.
Right. You don't have to do everything at once.
No, you take it one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And the second big takeaway is that focus on data-driven decision-making.
Yeah.
The data.
Data is crucial,
So it's not enough to just have a good idea.
No, you got to back it up with data.
You got to prove it.
You need to be able to measure progress.
Yeah.
Demonstrate the value of your efforts.
It's about accountability.
It is, and especially in government.
Yeah.
Where resources are often scarce.
Yeah, you got to show where those dollars are going.
You do. You got to make a strong case.
And finally, I think the most important takeaway is that positive change in government is possible. It is. It absolutely is.
It's not easy.
No.
It takes effort.
It takes work.
But it can be done.
It can. And ReEngine has shown us that.
They've shown us the way.
They've broken down silos, streamlined processes,
Yeah.
created a more responsive and efficient government.
And that's ultimately what it's all about, right?
That's it. That's the goal.
It's about the people.
Making government work better for the people it serves.
So to our listener who's been on this deep dive with us,
Yeah.
we hope that you are feeling inspired.
I hope so too.
And empowered to take action.
Yes, don't just listen. Do something.
Remember that final thought from our expert.
Mm.
Think about a government process that frustrates you.
Yeah, we all have one.
We all have at least one.
And imagine what good could look like.
How could it be better?
Yeah, how could it be better?
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
No, question everything.
Challenge the status quo.
So be a change agent.
Advocate for that change.
You have a voice. Use it.
You have a voice. You might be surprised by what you can achieve.
You absolutely might.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
Into the world of government process improvement.
It's a fascinating world.
It is.
And it's changing all the time.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
I hope so.
And are feeling energized.
Yes, energized to make a difference.
Let's do different.
Because we can all be part of the solution.
We can all be part of the solution.
That's what I love about this work.
We'll be back soon.
We will.
With another deep dive.
Another deep dive into a fascinating topic.
Until then, keep learning.
Keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
And keep pushing.
And keep pushing for a better future.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.